People are coming. কি বলো রে এই কোন দিয়ে হচ্ছে না নাকি কি বলছে
যাচ্ছি এক মিনিট।
हमसे पैसा वैसा मंगा नहीं ठीक है वो तो जितना लगा सकते वो तो है वो तो मेरे को पता है
इसका लिंक तो ना YouTube लाइव पे
क्या खबर जी, कैसे हैं?
बढ़िया
गुड।
हेलो
YouTube पे लिंक तो ना इतना दूर से करेगा
सामने सामने देखो ना आने में दिक्कत नहीं है
we will start our program. So welcome all of you on this program. And first I welcome Shri Jyotishka Dasgupta ji, President Calcutta School of Music. Now we will start this memorial lecture with our ACA theme song. So before that I will request everyone to please come. Now, let me introduce our today's guest speaker, Shri Jyotishka Dasgupta ji. Shri Dasgupta ji is the president of Calcutta School of Music and is also founder, principal of C4 Calcutta Center for Communication and Creativity. He is also area manager for Eastern India for Trinity College London and secretary treasurer of Dolana Day School Trust that runs Dolana Day School and Crèche. All these are his responsibilities besides composing and directing music, writing books on music notation for the students studying Western music and scoring for the orchestra for the students. Shri Dasgupta has worked as the music director with Mrinal Sen, Aparna Sen, Buddhadev Dasgupta, Rituparna Ghosh, Acae Viswanathan and others in their films. Won the admiration of Satyajit Ray and scored music for Ek Din Achanak, Sanja Hotel, Roop Aur Kothara, Bedni, 15 Park Avenue, Yugan, Unis, April and many more films. Music became a part of his life at a very early age as he started learning how to play the piano at the age of 5. He started teaching in 1974 when he had just finished his highest grade examination, the grade 8 in piano forte. He enjoyed teaching and mentoring students, young and old, as much as he enjoyed learning music. His core areas of interest and expertise is Western classical music. So with a big round of applause, sir, we welcome you and thank you very much for accepting our invitation and to be with us as a guest speaker. And now I will request for presentation of Uttariyo to our past president, CA Jinesh Banjara. Sir, please. And for memento, I will request CS SM Gupta ji. Sir, please come and present memento. And CA Jyotishka sir for presentation of our association cup. Now I will request our President Advocate Shri Sukumar Gupta ji to please give welcome address.
Good evening. So I welcome all of you to this 15th Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya Memorial Lecture, which is one of our flagship programs of our association. And when I was thinking about how to organize this and whom we should call which subject, also I discussed with Sanjay Da that whether Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya was interested in music. So he said yes, he was very much interested in music, and it was one of his hobbies. So then I discussed with Sanjay Da that can we call sir, who is the president of Acae School of Music, and can we discuss a topic on music? So Sanjay Da readily agreed. He said yes, it's a very good thought, and the brief that PM Nagilwala Sahab had given to us when this entire concept was floated about having a memorial lecture was that we should have a topic, or we should discuss a topic which is other than the profession. So he said this thing, discussing something on music, fits very well with the concept of the memorial lecture, and that you should go forward. And that is how we discussed and started this discussion with sir. And sir was very kind enough to accept our invitation, and today we are having this lecture. So just a brief about the entire lecture meetings that we have had till now of in memory of some of our past presidents. So in 1963, the ACA leadership initiated a series of memorial lectures in honor of our second president, Shri J.P. Gupta. Because Shri J.P. Gupta was president of our association for a very short period. It seems he had assumed office and suddenly he passed away. So maybe even the first EC meeting also could not happen under his leadership. So, and that was the reason why Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya became president after him as the third president for 2 years, so 64 and 65. So, Shri J.P. Gupta tragically passed away during his term, and then the inaugural J.P. Gupta Memorial Lecture took place on 16th of November 1963, featuring 10 lectures which were delivered by Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya himself. And some of these lectures were subsequently published also. Then following the demise of Professor Bhattacharya, Association's founder, vice president and the former president, so Professor Bhattacharya passed away on 17 February 2005, the executive committee during its meeting in March 2005 established the Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya Memorial Fund with an appropriate corpus. The committee also decided to entrust the administration of this fund to a subcommittee named the Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya Memorial Committee. Given Professor Bhattacharya's significant contribution to education, the executive committee resolved to utilize the fund for an annual memorial lecture on a topic of general public interest known as the Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya Memorial Lecture. The inaugural lecture occurred in August 2005, featuring Y.H. Maligam, the past president of our CA Institute, who delivered a lecture on the topic fiscal policy to promote investment and growth. Subsequently, the association has organized these lectures each term, welcoming distinguished personalities, including the esteemed Bharat Ratna and former President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, recently to share his insights. So we have had 14 lectures, and this is the 15th lecture today. The association's record also discloses that it has organized memorial lectures for each of our two distinguished past presidents, namely Shri K.L. Chandra and Shri P.M. Nagilwala, following their passing away. So this is a brief on the lectures that we have had till now in memory of our past presidents. And I was searching about Professor Bhattacharya on the internet, and I found one document which is a document in which Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya's name has got published, and very recently, in only 2024, just last year. So it is by Indian Accounting Association Research Foundation under the Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta. His name has been included in the Hall of Fame in Accounting in 2024, and the document says that Professor Bhattacharya was the first professional to have been inducted posthumously into the Hall of Fame in accounting in 2024 for his contribution to the profession of accountancy in India. It has many other points, but some significant points are that he was given permission to practice both as an advocate by the Bar Council of West Bengal and as a CA by the ICAI, which was unique till now. So he was practicing both as a CA and as an advocate. And this document also mentions that about the association, that he was the founder, as member of the association ACAE, and his goal was to create a body of professionals to practice, research and publish. So these are some of the things that are mentioned in this document. It has got a very long list. I'm skipping many of the points, but this is something that I encountered on the internet, which is very recent addition to. Neeraj will also read some of the points about Professor Bhattacharya, but I thought I'll share this because it's not there in his document. So with this, I welcome all of you once again, and we look forward to Sir's talk on music. And many of us may be interested in music and may be related, because I am doing something, Neeraj I know is doing something, and many of us must be doing something on music. But as Sir we discussed, it's not our core subject. So if anyone is practicing or is an enthusiast in music, it is maybe just as a hobby. So we would like to hear more about music from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your welcome address. So now, before I invite Sir for his address, so let us remember Professor late Sukumar Bhattacharya. So I have his brief profile, and let me read it completely, because many of us, in fact, never had the opportunity to meet him in person. So definitely, if this is the 15th lecture,
I have met, we have met.
many of us.
Many of us.
So that's why let's know more about him. So Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya, an eminent expert on taxation law, secured the second position in his master degree in applied mathematics from Calcutta University in 1943. So initially, he took up the career of lectureship of mathematics in Faridpur College, now in Bangladesh, and later on at the Scottish Church College, Kolkata. In 1946, he joined the income tax department and continued to work as an income tax officer till 1952. He secured first position in LLB examination of Calcutta University. Professor Bhattacharya also passed the Chartered Accountancy exam. He passed the IAS examination but did not join the service. Professor Bhattacharya started practicing as an advocate in 1970, and subsequently in 1988 he commenced practicing as a chartered accountant. Eventually, Professor Bhattacharya emerged as a leading expert in income tax at national and international levels. He became a senior advocate of Calcutta High Court, Supreme Court as well. Professor Bhattacharya had the rare distinction of being permitted by the ICAI as well as the Bar Council of West Bengal to carry on both the professions as a chartered accountant and also as an advocate. He authored, among others, Income Tax Laws and Practice, first published in 1963, which remained the standard book for students of universities among chartered accountants and other relevant professionals. An ex-member of Central Council of ICAI, Professor Bhattacharya was the founder, vice president and later on president of Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives. Later he founded Indian Accounting Association Research Foundation that patronizes research work in the field of accountancy. I believe जो तरुण जी अभी हम लोगों को बता रहे थे. He was a lecturer of both MCom and law curriculum of Calcutta University for about 2 decades. He had been a visiting faculty of the administrative staff, College of India, Indian Institute of Management and the Training Institute of the Income Tax Department. Professor Bhattacharya was the past president of Bengal National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Income Tax Bar Association, Kolkata and Indian Accounting Association. He contributed number of articles on direct taxes in various journals and newspapers. He spoke at numerous national and international conferences on direct taxes and relevant matters. For Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives, he was a fatherly figure because of his valued contribution and deep involvement with this association since its inception to his last breath in 2005. The association renders a yearly tribute to him by organizing a lecture meeting in his memory. So I think after reading this, many new facts came to me as well, that a person is IAS, advocate, chartered accountancy, MCOM, and post that living the work of IAS and decided to practice as a chartered accountant. So I think we all have taken correct decision. So this is something very, very honored for all of us. And now, sir, I will request for your lecture on this topic, lecture on forms of music in the Eastern world and the Western world, instruments, ensemble versus solo playing, the philosophy and the structures. Sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So, let me start by saying that it's a privilege to be here, and especially getting to hear about Dr. Bhattacharya after Sukumar Bhattacharya after so many years that I didn't really know that the association was so closely connected to it. So that's a different form of life, and then we having the privilege to talk about a topic which is so different from what you do in your regular professions, that is what makes it so interesting. So when it comes to music, I mean, whether we practice music or whether we are in the habit of listening to music regularly or not, it doesn't really matter. Because I think there are very few individuals, perhaps none, who will say, oh, I'm not interested in music. If you play music, I will go out of the room. I will not like it. It's very unlikely. It's not going to happen because some form of music or the other will touch the heart, it will make a difference, and you will want to listen to a little more. So music is just one of those hobbies that is very easily grabbed on. From childhood, people say that, oh, I want to learn music. Or the parents say, I want my daughter or I want my son to learn music, and they take them across to a teacher. Now, in our country, we are very rich in our heritage of music. I mean, from the Vedas, there's been mention of music in our lives, and the original forms in which music was there was primarily vocal music. If we compare that to the West, we will also find absolutely the same thing. If we go back to the 15th century or so, there were very few instruments then. It was mainly vocal music. In all places in the world, I think religion used to play a dominant role in the lives of the people. The church in the West used to think that playing of instruments and instrumental music is not good for the human beings. They would allow the voice. So in the church, the singing that used to happen was primarily voice. Now we'll try and play back some Gregorian chants that go back to the 15th century, and you will find how interesting it is and how we have moved away through the years, and we are at a completely different location today. So even in our Indian music, the vocals that used to be in existence so many years back have developed, and it has changed, and it is more structured now. The only difference that happened in the West is that they brought in a lot of instruments. So instead of just one melody, they had a cluster of instruments all contributing to the same piece of music and giving birth to what we know as orchestration. So all of you must be traveling abroad at some point of time or the other. So you have the opportunity to listen to an orchestral performance, because that happens in all cities all over the world all the time, much more than the frequency that we have in India. There almost every evening someone is organizing an orchestral group who are playing together, so you will get that opportunity. So I think it would be interesting if I introduced you to those instruments of the orchestra so that you know them by name, you know how they are put together in the orchestra, how they are made to sit in a particular pattern, and when they play together, why is it designed in that manner? Compared to that, in our Indian music, we have a lot of instruments, mostly solo instruments, maybe with an accompanist, usually which is a percussionist. But even in our Indian instruments, I don't think all of us are familiar with all the major Indian instruments. We don't even know them by look. Maybe we know the sitar, the sarod, maybe the esraj. Maybe we don't know the difference between an esraj and a sarangi by look. Both are string instruments, but maybe we won't be able to recognize them. Especially those of us who are in northern India, we have practically no acquaintance with instruments in South India. But the veena, such a beautiful instrument. There is an instrument always played at temples which is called the Nadaswaram. It's almost like a Shehnai, but it's not a Shehnai. Completely different tone, completely different sound. So it is interesting to get an overview of these various kinds of instruments, listen to the tone, listen to the sound, at least you get introduced to the instrument. And Western orchestration is a completely different ballgame. I would like to give you examples, short clips, which will give you an idea of what it is all about, how it happens, how it takes place, so that you know there's less of talking from my end, more of demonstration, which I think will be much more interesting. Okay, let me start with an example. I think the HDMI connection is there. It should come. Let's see. If it doesn't work, then we'll see. Can you see the screen? Do we have an internet that I can connect to?
Yes.
Can I have the password?
AIR?
Used.
AIR?
AIR 9930. 30. AIR
2. It's all in small response. appreciating music, understanding music, listening to music. If I play a piece like this, you will immediately find out how peaceful.
1500 प्री-लोडेड गानों वाला धमाकेदार साउंड के साथ कारवां मोबाइल।
Similar mood is achievable with a piece of music that is completely Western, nothing Indian in it. This one is the flute. This one is called oboe. This is the bassoon. That's a different world, very different from our world. In our world, a solo flute performance is evoking the same quality, that sense of tranquility. The Western world is a full orchestra playing this piece of music. But the flute and the oboe jointly are creating music which gives you that sense of harmony. So that is the quality of music. It's very difficult to define and say that music is different when it is a different part of the world. It will be played differently, the structure will be different, but you have the same things happening to you. Inside it will stir up the same things. Just listen to this piece of music, now tell me what it does to anyone listening to it. just plays for 10 minutes, all the young people in the room will start dancing. The music is like that, it's asking you to dance. So that's the quality that I'm trying to talk to you about. What does it do to you when you listen to music? What is your reaction to it? It's the same person playing different tracks. You don't have different players, it's the same person. So these are qualities of music that all of us are aware of. Music is there in all of us. We don't need training. It only needs a little bit of awakening. You need inputs like this to tell you, so that is music to which I feel invigorated. And the other one is calm and quiet in the morning. If it is playing in the room while I am having my cup of tea and I'm not thinking of all the things that I have to do during the day, then I feel the peace and tranquility. If I can leave that behind, I need to do that. That cutting off has to happen by the individual. So that you can close your eyes, listen to the music, have your cup of tea and say to yourself, I think of work, but later. So that is what you can find from music. Now, the major difference in Indian and Western music is Indian music is totally improvised. You don't tell a musician, be it a singer or an instrumentalist, you don't tell that person what to play. At the most you can suggest, will you please perform something in Pilavali or Bhopali or Bageshri? Suggest a raga, that's all. Rest of the music will be created by that person on the spot. That does not happen in Western classical music at all. Everything is written. Every note is written, and it is our responsibility. I think the mic is off. Is it? Never mind. So it is our responsibility as musicians to reproduce that music as accurately as possible, which is not an easy task. But there is no improvisation. You are not allowed to improvise. It will have to be exactly according to a score. For, say, a violin player, there is only one line of music. For a piano player, there are two lines, one for the right hand, one for the left hand. Because the two hands are playing different things. They are not playing the same thing. And will anyone be able to guess what the score is like for a conductor who is conducting a team of anything between 70 to 110 or 120 musicians? I think something wrong with the battery. Should I use this one? Hello. Yeah, is there? So, when he is conducting 100 to 120 musicians, he has to know what each musician is going to play, or each group of musicians is going to play. So he must have that many lines. Can you imagine? Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Fairly easy to read. This is for a very small flute called piccolo. This is for the flute. This is for the oboe. This is for the clarinet. This is for the trumpet. This is for the contra trumpet. So it carries on like that, and that's just one page. So while he's conducting, he's just flipping pages as he's moving forward. Because one page has only one line for an instrument. So that is what, see here there is no music for the soprano, the alto, these are singers. For the bass, there is no music. So the music, they will start joining in over here. By the time they join, these are called bars. By the time they play 3 bars, it's time to turn the page. Can you imagine how qualified, how efficient that person has to be able to interpret all those lines? I don't think anyone in this room has ever seen an orchestral score. That is what the orchestral score looks like. Whereas for a piano player, you would just have 2 lines like this. One for the treble clef, and there will be a bass clef somewhere, that's the bass clef. Just these 2 lines, that's all that is there in a piano score. For a violin score, only 1 line will be there, like that. So look at the skill of the conductor to be able to read so many lines and control that entire orchestra just with a little stick. That stick is called the baton. So with the baton, he just conducts like that, and everyone is following it. Or else you will not be able to keep to time. You will not be able to keep to time. That's so many people playing together. The people in the first row cannot hear the people at the last row. So they're all following the conductor with their eyes to keep in sync. Just imagine if you were running an office and you was in a chamber and all 50 members of your office were just following your instructions, which you just placed like that, and they were all doing their work perfectly. Ideal condition. But that's a dream. But this is reality. They do that every day. It's just fabulous to imagine that happening. It's just fabulous. Let me just try and show you what it looks like when they are actually playing. A small group perhaps. Your battery is running low. That means there is no power over here. No, but the switch is on. Right? The battery is in. There. So, let me just give you 1 or 2 words before I play this. You have probably heard the word concerto, C-O-N-C-E-R-T-O. Now, the word concerto means a group of musicians forming an orchestra, and they will be playing together, but there will always be a soloist whose role is the lead role in the orchestra. So piano concerto means pianist is the soloist. Violin concerto means violinist is the soloist. Trumpet concerto means the trumpet player is the soloist. This is going off and coming on. Okay, back again. So I am going to give you one example for piano concerto, played by one of the world's leading pianists today. She's alive. She's aged, but she's alive. She's playing a piece by Tchaikovsky. that's the solo part. Now the orchestra is beginning. So how important it is to have the role of a conductor to put all those people together and make all of them play in sync. So that was a piano concerto. I deliberately chose a horn concerto because you may not have seen a French horn. So the soloist and the conductor always come in later. They are privileged. She's holding a French horn. She's giving the note A and the whole orchestra is tuning to it so that they are all in tune. Polyphonic music where a lot of sounds are coming together as opposed to homophonic music, which is integral part of our Indian music. And homophonic music was also the origin of Western music way back in the 15th century. I'm playing back something from the church in the 15th century. Listen to the music and see how that is. No instruments. very different from what you just heard before this, where so many instruments were playing together, so grand. This is also grand, but in a very different way. You could feel that there is something religious about it. Maybe there is some hidden prayer somewhere, only voices, no instruments. You cannot even really make out if there is a rhythm or a tala. You cannot make out. Okay. So in our Indian music, we have not only the melody, we also have a rhythmic structure to it. But the rhythmic structure in Indian music is completely cyclical. So it starts at a point and it gets back to the same point. It starts at a point and gets back to the same point. So if you have 16 matras in a tala, it will go back to 1. Okay, if you have 5 matras, it will complete the 5 and go back to 1. In Western music, there is no cyclical structure. It is a complete meter. So if you have a rhythm which has got 4 beats in it, it's 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and that just continues. So that is the basic difference in the structuring, other than what I had mentioned earlier about improvisation. Because in Indian music, the performer is improvising all the time. He's improvising with the accompanist as well. The tabla player is also improvising with him. They are doing exchanges which are also improvised. Okay. Now, these instruments of the orchestra that we were talking about, it would be interesting to give you at least the structure of the orchestra and of the instruments. I will try and do that, and then I will also try and introduce our Indian instruments.
The orchestra. It's just a group of musicians getting together to make music. How do they make these instruments work? Which instruments are related and why? To start, we can break the instruments into 4 families. Each family is grouped by the way the instrument produces vibration. This kind of classification gives us the string family, the woodwind family, the brass family, and the percussion family. When you think of the orchestra, you most likely think of the violin, or at least some sort of string instrument. This is probably because they make up the majority of the instruments in the orchestra, so good thinking. All string instruments use string vibration to produce sound, so it makes sense that they are called the string family. There are 4 main string instruments. These are the violin, the viola, the cello, and the bass.
The bass is played standing.
Each of these instruments can be plucked or bowed. As you can see here, the main difference between the four instruments is their size. As with any instrument, the smaller it is, the higher pitches it plays. And the larger the instrument is, the lower pitches it plays. A very common arrangement would have the violins playing the melody, and the violas, cellos, and basses playing supporting roles. This is not always the case, but it's important to know. These instruments are some of the oldest instruments made for the modern orchestra, and some early orchestral music is even written solely for this section.
Only the strings are played, no other instruments.
Lastly, the harp and the piano are sometimes included in the string family, just depending on the time period when the music was being played. The next largest section of the orchestra is usually the woodwind family.
How the sound is totally different. Not the string sound, all blown instruments.
Most woodwind instruments use a small piece of wood called a reed to produce their vibration. The reed vibrates when air is blown across it. This is how instruments like the clarinet work. Saxophones also use a reed. This is why they are classified as a woodwind and not a brass instrument. As far as instruments go, saxophones are fairly new, having only been created in the mid-1840s. Because of this, there aren't really many orchestral pieces that include saxophone. Some woodwind instruments have a reed that has two parts called a double reed.
I think that's
Instruments like the oboe and the bassoon use a double reed. In this case, both reeds vibrate and tend to create not have a reed. Instead, the player just blows across a hole in the instrument, much like you would do if you were.
So this whole thing is a metal flute. They have no wooden flutes anywhere in an orchestra. And in India, we have no metal flutes. They're all wooden flutes. Any flute player would generally carry a bag that big when they come into play. The smaller flutes are high pitched, the large flutes are low pitched. So according to whatever rag he's playing, or even a section of the rag, he will change flutes in between his playing. While the tabla player is playing something, he'll choose another flute and continue his playing. So that's for the Indian flute. Here, the Western instrument, they play only with one flute.
Blowing across the top of a pop bottle. You might have noticed that this family has all the instruments with a ton of, it's just knowing which keys to press down and getting your fingers to the right spot. To the brass family. The brass family gets its name from the shiny material that its instruments are made from. All brass instruments use the player's lip vibration and air to make sound. To make a tone you're probably familiar with. Unlike the woodwind instruments, brass instruments have few keys. In fact, the trombone doesn't have any keys. It just uses a slide.
So there's one pipe. You will notice it goes forward and backward. With just the length of the pipe, they change the pitch and they're producing music. The trumpet player has just got 4 keys. Just by blowing harder or by blowing less, he's producing all the sounds. So it's just interesting to know how these sounds are produced, how the instruments are played, so that when you get an opportunity to listen to them, you know more about them.
The 5 main brass instruments in the orchestra.
So, trumpet, that's the French horn that we had seen. That's the trombone. This is called a tuba. You have seen the wedding bands. You will find one person coming at the end with one huge instrument which must be so difficult to carry also. So that's the tuba. It plays bass notes, absolutely the lower notes. And that's called a quorum live. So these are the brass instruments. So far we've cover the string instruments, violin, viola, cello, and double bass. The woodwinds, piccolo, flute, bassoon. Now we have the brass instruments. And then we have the percussions, where there are at least 50 to 60 different instruments, not just drums, but there are triangles, there are wooden shakers, there are castanets, there are hundreds of different instruments. So they all come together and you can hear. As compared to that, if we come down to our music, this is the most popular.
1500 प्री-लोडेड गानों वाला कीपैड फोन धमाकेदार साउंड के साथ कारवा मोबाइल।
So we are talking about trumpet, trombone, etc. That's our Shanghai. So different in sound. Everyone knows.
1500 प्री-लोडेड गानों वाला कीपैड फोन धमाकेदार साउंड के साथ कारवा मोबाइल।
All these pegs mean that these are connected to some string or the other for tuning. The larger pegs are for the main strings. The smaller pegs are only for the sympathetic vibration. So depending on the raga, the sitar player will tune the smaller strings along with the main important notes in that raga, so that when we play the main note, that will vibrate on its own. It's not even played. It will simply vibrate. So that's why you get to hear that sound. You can hear the vibration. It's not one single note. You can hear multiple strings vibrating at the back. So that is what makes the sitar so sweet, so special, and so sparkling. Next most important instrument for us. Only the main note. Can you make out that there is only a main note, no sympathetic vibration? Clear, clean main note in the sarod. If you ever visit Gwalior, Amjad Ali Khan Sahib has got a museum called Sarod Ghar in Gwalior, where from his father, grandfather, I mean all the instruments are there on display. Because his family, the lineage was all Sarod players, and all coming from places like Afghanistan, Baluchistan, these places, where Rabab was actually the original instrument from which the Sarod developed. So they are all on display in Sarod Ghar. If you visit Gwalior and you have the time, it would be a great opportunity. This is an instrument rarely heard in India anymore. People have left the country and gone to America, the sarengi. Closest to the human voice. We heard so many Western string instruments, violin, viola, cello, trumpet, now this sound. This is an Indian string instrument with a sound completely different. Another string instrument again Indian, S-Raj. See the difference in the sound between the two. I'm playing two string instruments one after the other. Even appearance is totally different. Sarangi, the spot instrument, this is a tall instrument. So that's just brief look into what our Indian instruments are like, the primary instruments, the ones that we get to hear, the ones that we have an opportunity to listen to. So many instruments have become extinct now, no players. See, that's the sad part about music now. The younger generation are so interested only in academics and pursuit of a profession. They have no time for music or sports or arts. I mean, slowly, the interest in all these areas is waning. This is the sad part of it. Because if they die, there will be no revival in India. We hope that's not going to happen. But then, it's on the wane. Definitely the interest is not there. They have no time for it. I have a little bit of vested interest in showing you what a very simple score is like in Western music. So this is a very simple score. So the score tells you that 4/4 is the time signature. It means 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This round note is a whole note. So it takes up the entire bar. So that round note is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, the round note with the stem, is half this round note. So there are 2 in the bar. So when the musician looks at this, he will clap 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's got become black. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a gap. So you clap 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. This is even smaller. It's got a tail which is joined together. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. This is how the score happens. I'll show you once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how the music is moving. So every note is written. The timing of every note is written. So you cannot move. You cannot do anything on your own. You have to stick. Would any of you like to try cutting with me? You might just produce some music. It's possible.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it together first, then we'll make a slight change. Okay. So I'm going to use what we use for our music lessons for students who are learning to help them keep time. So this instrument is called a metronome. It just keeps time. So it says 80. So 80 ticks per minute. That's the tempo at which it's going right now. So I'll put it here so that we can do it with the metronome. I'll show it once. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my first line. Okay? And all of this, we can do it together. Ready? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it's not easy. It did not happen together. Okay. We'll try it once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Not bad. This was much better. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, this side will clap the top line, this side will clap the bottom line. Starting together.
They're too early to play.
Huh?
They're too early to play.
Then one or two can come this side, join in, please. I don't think they are ready. I think even they will enjoy clapping. But if they need your support, please support them. Okay. So this side, rehearsal for this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Now we clap from the beginning. You will clap this line, they will clap this line. I will count 1, 2, 3, 4 and then we start together. 1, 2, 3, 4. You will clap this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They will clap something different. And that has to come together. Please just look at this and clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. interesting if you can do it together. It's interesting if you can do it together. So, just imagine then if we have scores written for so many members in the orchestra and they are all coming in on perfect time and playing together in time. If the clap goes like that, there is no meaning in the clap. The clap has to happen together. I thought this might be an interesting exercise, at least to show you what it's like. So I think I'm running beyond time.
Yeah, so
Can I play a piece of music recorded in Kolkata with a 80-member Western Philharmonic Orchestra? A piece of music all of you know, and I will expect everyone to join me. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, I found it. So please react to it when you hear it. Western Orchestra playing our national anthem. All Westerners, every note was scored for them, and they just read from the score. Okay, thank you for being so patient and listening to all of this. I hope there's a little bit at least you can carry away from the lecture. I hope it was a little interesting because it's completely alien to most of you. But I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed sharing a little bit of my knowledge.
We have also enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank you.
There are 4 or 5 questions arising out of this.
Please, I'd be very happy to answer questions. Anything at all.
First, you told that there was no instrument in 15th century, before 15th century. But in Indian context, the instrument is always there with Veena, goddess Saraswati, and the Indra Darbar at the heaven that dance is being performed. So it was all
Absolutely correct. But at a point of time in the earlier ages, whatever little instruments or even vocal music that we had, each was completely dependent on the support and patronage of the king or the samrat, whose darbar funded that musician for his performance, for his livelihood and everything. So it was not structured and not that independent. Same thing in the West also. If a musician or a composer got the patronage of the local count, that means his livelihood was taken care of. He would be able to compose music, he would be able to play music. So now, what do we have today? All independent, free musicians who can go and perform anywhere that they like. There are people who will buy tickets and watch their program. From the proceeds and the support, they will get their money. That has changed completely. So the print instruments were also very, very primitive. Now the instruments have been refined and made even better. The sound is better, acoustics are better, amplification is there. Just imagine if a solo sitar was being played with 300 people in the audience. People at the back would not be able to hear. Today, absolutely. It's
And
very
from that only this sitar and all these things, because they are all strings.
Absolutely. That's why I said there's mention of instruments as way back as the Vedas.
Right.
In Sama Veda, there's mention of the instruments.
Krishna was
Like the flute, that's what we've heard at least all along. So instruments were there, but today playing an instrument, making a livelihood out of it, being a teacher, being a performer, that's a different story altogether.
Secondly, the music depends from the childhood. If you hear what music you hear from the childhood, that music will appeal you.
But absolutely correct. Absolutely.
For me, this Western music is like noise. I don't understand that. But the people or the youngsters, they very much like Western music.
No, but the kind of Western music that they like, I did not play any samples of that at all. What I played was Western classical music. They like things which are popular, rock and pop. You know, I mean, that's different. And now it is Korean pop, not even Western pop. They're listening more to K-pop now. So that is changing times, changing tastes, that will happen.
Today's youngsters, they will not even understand what piano is. The music, the keys which are being played there.
Thirdly, our ragas has been developed according to the seasons, you can say, or the
Even the time of the day.
time of the day
Bhairavi is a morning
and
raga.
for the sunrise. But
Yes.
for Western people, there is no sunrise for the most part of the year. So how can you say that morning ragas will be same in Western music also?
Because they also have mornings, so they also
Morning,
enjoy
but that
the
is a different morning. But that is a snowy morning. We have got the birds chirping and all these things, and there is different sound.
Actually, in our music, the connection with philosophy is very strong. That is not there in Western music. In Indian music, the philosophy, the time of the day, the mood of the person, the season, I mean the ragas that are there for, say, monsoon. I mean, they are absolutely for the monsoon. You will not perform them in winter. In Western music, that does not apply at all. You play any piece at any point of time.
So in that way, our music far better than the Western.
No, it's different. Better or worse, I will not say. But I will say it's definitely different.
The Indian music you said is more improvised. So then is it like also written like the Western music that we have, or because
There's very little written music in Indian music. In fact, writing would kind of formalize and put it into some kind of chains, which is not
Exactly.
exactly. It is meant to be improvised. The performer is meant to, like jazz. Jazz is also meant to be improvised. You cannot write a jazz score and expect someone to play according to the score. Then it doesn't remain jazz anymore.
So Indian music will have some initial notes written and then improvisation, or is from beginning only?
So for every raga, there are a set of notes which are called aroha, which means how you go up. Does not necessarily mean all 7 notes of the scale. It could be 5 notes also. And avarohan, which means coming down, that could be 7 notes. Going up, you could have the third, a minor third. Coming back, it could be a major third. Now these changes are defined by the raga itself. Whether it be Komal Ma or Kodi Ma is determined by the raga itself. Accordingly, it is structured. So the student will be told the structure and taught the structure and taught how to improvise within that structure. And he might get handed down to him by his Guruji a bandish written by his Guru or his Guru's Guru. So it becomes inheritance. So this student, when he grows up, will again pass it down to his student. That's how the music gets transferred through the ages. The bandishes get transferred. Every gharana has a different bandish for the same rag. Agra gharana and Gwalior gharana may not agree. They'll say, like he said, that I don't understand Western music, I think Indian music is better. Agra gharana people will say, our bandish is better than Gwalior gharana. So, again, that comparison actually has no foundation. It's a matter of personal preference. Matter of personal preference.
Is there any music in Western system which can sleep you for your children, like Lori we are playing here?
Yes, there are lullabies written in English all the time. Lullabies have existed for years, and mothers sing a lullaby to put their child to sleep. Definitely it is there. But probably there is no happy birthday song in Indian music. But we all sing the English happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. There's nothing in Indian music.
But the Sanskrit version has also already come.
Really?
Yeah. You go to YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard.
Very good music. Very good music. Very good music.
Now you know how music is affecting our older people. There are a lot of questions, particularly people with birds. Usually understand Indian music.
Not understand, like the music.
But they will understand, like music.
I had tried my hand on tabla.
What happens in Indian music, there are not so many instruments. Whichever instrument is there, they are played to the best. That is why we differ from the Western music.
Plus, in the major difference, I would say, in the West, part of academic education, there is music in every school for every child. Every child is expected to either join the choir or play the violin or play the trumpet in the school band, in the school orchestra. Where is it there in India? Our government has never felt the importance of a performance arts. No music, no dance, no vocal singing, nothing in schools. It's never compulsory, it's always an optional extracurricular activity for a parent who thinks that it is important for the child. All over in the West, every school feels that every child must do some form of performance arts.
From private tutor, dance, music, whatever.
But that is it's such a small percentage of people opting for it. Just imagine in my childhood, if I would walk in my area, from one house I would hear the sound of a sitar, another house hear the sound of a harmonium and someone doing and holding that note and singing and doing riyaz in the morning. Where is it now? It's not there. Even in your own locality, you walk around, you never get to hear. No one is practicing these anymore. It's such a loss for us, for our culture. Now, if the young child goes and touches your feet to show respect, someone else will say, no, it is not required. I always tell them, please don't ever do that. These are things that we want to hold on to. This is part of our heritage, part of our glory. The fact that we show respect to our elders. Don't ever say no to a child who has learned it. In fact, you tell the other child, see how beautifully he touched his feet. You must also do that. That's how we should transfer it. Why do we go to a wedding dressed in a suit? I don't understand. I never go to a wedding dressed in a suit. I would always wear a kurta and a pajama or a dhoti and go. I would never wear a suit. Why? The suit is not part of our dress. At a wedding is a cultural occasion where we show off our best sarees, our best kurtas, our best Indian dresses. Why should I wear a black coat and a pant to go to a wedding?
Very good evening to all of you. On behalf of the Association of Corporate Advisors and Executives, and in capacity as the General Secretary, sir, I find it my profound privilege to be extending this vote of thanks. You've made us realize that in the world of chartered accountants, where we are always inundated with numbers and audits, I think melody and music has a very integral part to play. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time, and the questions proved it enough that there is so much of music which is left yet to be discovered in each one of us. My son is 10, sir, and he's been playing the piano ever since he was 4. And that is one thing as parents we have stuck to, that till he is 18, this is one thing that he has to follow very diligently. Just like he goes to school, he has to learn how to play an instrument. So there is music alive in a lot of houses still. Thank you so much to everyone in the audience, and especially our past presidents on this auspicious occasion of Professor Sukumar Bhattacharya Memorial Lecture for joining in. May we keep the legacy alive. Thank you once again, and very good evening to all of you.
We'll take a group photo. I have 3 granddaughters, and one is in Switzerland. He plays the piano. He said 4 years. She started very well in that particular. And the 2 daughters who are here in Goa, they play guitar, they play.
এইটা উঠছে দেখবি বলে দিবি এক মিনিট না না এইটাতে উঠেই জায়গাটা উঠে গেছে ঠিক আছে